ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a name.
You have a name? Do you have a name? Do not be like Mweve. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty, and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress, and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits, and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa, or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284 *173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.
prices. Stream big and save bigger with your TV channels app. Enjoy your favorite shows, movies, comedy, local hits, kids content and sports for just 1,000 shillings daily plus a 4 GB data bonus. Better still, for just 2,500 shillings, grab the weekly bundle with 10 GB streaming data and a 3-day free trial. Don't wait. Download the OTV channels app now and take control of your entertainment. Pause, rewind, record, play anytime, anywhere. Stream big, save bigger with your TV channels.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN? Do not be like Mweve. Visit a nearer registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel.
It is a very good morning right here in, of course, the studios of Host TV. You're catching us live from Arua City, broadcasting from the Host Hub Innovation Village. The Morning Explorer crew is in here, and remember, it is, of course, August, and a very fresh August in a way that it is 5th of August, 2025, a day in West Nile where the whole of the region is in here. If you know about the Public Accounts Committee, they're actually in Arua. There was a lot of interfaces yesterday with the local governments that are in, and of course the city councils, that is Arua City, all along been packed in Arua. So the whole of Uganda, the whole of Parliament is in Uganda for the Public Accounts Committee interface that is happening in here. But of course, it's a very bright moment, Monday morning, Tuesday mornings in here, and I'm not alone in studio. My baddest. I don't want to mention it. I don't want to mention that.
Come on, Aldo. Well, a very good morning to you, Aldo.
Yeah.
It seems Monday was such a good day that you are stuck in it.
I still continue to call on Monday because yesterday I found myself seated in for over 6 hours after the show here. I quickly had to run and get to listen to what is happening in terms of community actions, where a lot of issues were raised during the Public Accounts Committee for Local Government sitting. And this committee is headed by the most vibrant Gilbert Olanya, the MP for, that is Aru. And remember, there are a lot of issues. If you sit in park, it is just like you're sitting on fire. So yesterday there was a lot of fire for West Nile, local governments. I don't know what you would be if you are a local government official being asked and requested to account for monies that you swindled, corruption.
Well, Aldo, I thank God that I am not in any of those seats. But I think, coming in a time in this political era right now, I think these people are really being hit from every corner. Politics is hitting them. The parliament is making them to account. Of course, this is the moment. Last week we were saying Arua will raise about 6.6 billion. Well, this is the time to talk about, we are bringing out every receipt. I hope they have their receipts.
Yesterday, I was seeing accounting officers fidget around in front of the park committee. You really know how structures are putting things right here. But of course, we want to save that discussion more. And later on, in the second hour, we'll be having, of course, one of the most vibrant persons who would be able to share this more. Because on Tuesdays, we give it for community focuses. And of course, we'll be having Swale Haruna, Honorable Swale Haruna, recently has been in the race for the position of MP Arua City, Arua Central, and I remember he didn't go through, but of course we'll be having him here as a political leader, as a senior political analyst, to try to understand what does it mean for someone to account for PDM, what does it mean for someone to actually divert money. This is not only focusing. Arua City did well, by the way, in terms of these are the whole hearing. Yes, today even it is going on. I would invite the public to quickly come and, of course, go to the city headquarters, that is Arua, where the park is interfacing with the local governments. Right over there, we did hear Arua City, I think, had very minimal issues whereby they were praised for being very transparent, and then Arua City also had only a few issues of procurement of road maintenance equipment, where, remember, when Arua City was declared a city some 5 years back, coming to 5 years back now, the equipment of the city were transferred to the district, that is Arua now. So city now continues to hire these equipments, and it is very costing. Those were issues that the auditors raised during the auditor's report. Remember, this public accounts committee is coming after the auditor's report and after the end of the previous financial year. So there's a lot of issues happening. The public must actually go and watch the hearings in, of course, Arua, if you're within Arua City.
Aldo, I think now this is from an individual perspective. Inviting the public to be part of this thing is actually something that, by that, many people actually don't know what goes on in our city. They don't know what the administrators are doing. Most people don't pay interest. I did have the privilege of interacting with someone last week about our elections. And when I mentioned something one of our political leaders were doing, like, we don't actually know these things. We vote people into office, but we don't know what people do. You don't know what your town clerk's responsibility is, and because of these things, we as a community cannot hold these people accountable. So we have to be part of these things. We have to know what is going on in our city. So as Aldo says, acquaint yourself with this kind of information.
Sometimes government releases a lot of circulars, a lot of documents on that is, if you go to Ministry of Finance, if you're able to see through what we call the budget website, there's a lot of documents there, but sometimes you find a document of over 500, over 200 pages, which is very hard. But of course, in the Public Accounts Committee sitting hearings that are happening right now, you'll be able to see how the whole budget, even as far as 2016, the loopholes have been identified. So it is something very good for the public to go and listen to themselves. I must be able to say local governments like Koboko, which were the last to be handled yesterday, had very good recommendations from Park. Arua Central Division that had actually collected a lot of taxes. I did see Malik Drakuma, of course, the financial player in there, together with accounting officers, responding quickly, and they were praised actually for being very transparent. And Aru Aivu also had, in the afternoon hours, Aivu was listened to. But on a very sad, bad note for Terego, Terego was sent away because they had a lot of issues in regard to PDM, in regard to issues to do with also, Terego had issues to do with money meant for community issues. Support staff salaries were not paid and these monies were returned back. So that was a very big issue for Terego. And then later on also, we did see Moyo. Moyo had a lot of issues. You heard about the seed secondary schools. Dufele Seed Secondary School actually, where money was meant to construct that very school, was erroneously, not error, but of course intentionally, the money was paid to a contractor who had not yet done anything. The science laboratory was not fully stocked, and there were a lot of issues that Moyo was actually sent away to go and prepare more, and later to follow the parks committee that is still in West Nile, but they'll be going to Gulu and later on travel to Karamoja. So that is something very bad for the local government of Moyo, and of course Terego district. There are issues also which they were sent away to go and get proper documents right over there. So Marata, I think those of Marata, you may are getting interfaces today. If you're within Arua, you must be able to go and listen to. It is happening. If you know the former court hall, just opposite the mayor's garden, and of course at the city hall also, there are two places, because these are very many. Remember, West Nile has 14 administrative units right over there. So you see the issues happening in Moyo, whereby a whole, we call it what, the Seed Secondary School that has been funded by the government. This is presidential initiative to foster science education, and the monies have been misappropriated in one way or the other. And right now, as we are talking now, these monies have gone, and accounting officers have been drilled seriously as of yesterday.
No, this actually comes in a time where the government is, the budget is, the money is just being released to this local administration. Money is just going to come. And I think one thing people don't understand is how much this can impact the next funding people get for different activities in their local administration.
Yeah, when you talk about local administration, I think yesterday also NEBI did quite very well. We did hear, I was in there particularly when NEBI was being grilled in by the Public Accounts Committee. Remember, this committee is headed by, in here, the sitting had Gilbert Olanya, the Honorable MP for Aru, who is in there, very vibrant and vocal to that. And also we had Etuka Isaac, who was the lead counsel to that Public Accounts Committee that was doing the hearings in Arua. And today, it is also going to be right over there. In the second hour, we'll be making sure that we get Honorable, of course, Swaleh Haruna in studios here to understand and to diverse these issues very better, because on Tuesdays we focus more on the community issues right there. But of course, Desire, today in history, just from my production room, I'm seeing a lot of warning coming on my screen right over there, trying to tell us to focus on what happened on this very day. And Desire, today in history.
Tell us, what should we remember?
I'm always the wise man, and of course I have a very wise lady. Today in history, just from my screen right over there, just projected from what happened on this day from my production room, is in the year, in the first millennium of that is 910, the last major Viking army to raid England, led by the King Edward and Al-Atlad, is defeated at the battle over that is at Tethal Hill. And remember, this was the times when there were monarchs in Europe. If you know of the monarchs in Europe, we have the Scottish government, we had the British monarch, and up to now, one of the ancient monarchs that continues to rule the world is, of course, the British monarch is in there. And there are a lot of issues. Remember, that was the year when the Catholic Church was also more like a monarch, and I must be able to say that. There were a lot of issues. Kings were the biggest things for that case. So
I can't believe there was actually a time where the whole world was full of chiefs and kings, and wow, that is a big change.
And also that very year later on, as we entered like 500 years, not really 500, but of course 400 or 305 years later, the Scottish government, remember, they started fighting for independence. It was under the UK government by then, the British monarch, but on this very day, that is in the year that was in the year 1305, the Scottish monarch did through the Glasgow, they were able to try to wage a war against the UK government. But of course, the leader by then, who was William Wallace, was arrested on this very day and taken for execution to, that is, of course, to England, where the monarchs over British was very strongly being built on. That is a lot of history happening some 1,000 years back. Still, we have it fresh today. Desire, if you were to be during those years, I think you would be one of the rioters during that.
Oh, come on, Aldo. Let me tell you one thing. I fancy those old period times, okay, because I would have just been a lady baking donuts right now, very quietly with coffee.
Oh, and that is very quite unfortunate for you there, baking donuts. Maybe you would be baking it for those who are in the battlefield. But of course, on this very day also, 1716, in the 17th century, the battle over that is Pennsylvania. And remember, this was where the Ottoman Empire, if you know of the Ottoman Empire, Russia, which up to now is a very big state. That was one of the biggest empires in the world. It expanded up to Africa, places like Morocco. These were all under the Ottoman Empire, and this was the Russian Empire. And I remember this empire was later on defeated in the 19th century. And that was during the First World War and the Second World War later on, when we did see the Cold War around 1990s up to 1999, when the Russian, the revolution was defeated. During the Cold War politics, Russia was brought down to her knees, and of course the colonies of Russia were shared by the winners over that very Cold War politics. You remember countries like Ukraine, countries in Eastern Europe like Moldova, countries like Wales and Azerbaijan, countries like Kazakhstan. These were countries previously, these were states of the Russian Empire, and after the defeat during the Cold War, they were taken up. So a lot of history of Russian Ottoman Empire started on this very day, that was in the year 1716. In the 17th century, the Ottoman Empire, one of the biggest. Imagine expanding up to Morocco. What was Russia doing in Africa?
We could ask a lot of people what they are doing in Africa, but let's not.
Hey.
Let's not ask today.
Okay, I will throw that back to you. Maybe what was Russia doing? Someone will be able to remember. You can drop us your comments, and you can keep this Morning Explorer so very interactive. The numbers are on your screen there. That is a 07023211169 is our WhatsApp line for Host TV. You would be able to make sure that every discussion that happens here, you can be able to check it right over there. And of course, a lot of issues happen in India. If you're celebrating your birthday today, in the celebrity birthdays we're seeing in the famous birthdays of today, are you celebrating? Let me first ask if my sweetheart, that is my own desire, is also celebrating a birthday, because ladies are also controversial. Every day is a birthday for a lady somewhere.
Aldo, I would say I am one fortunate person, okay? Me and everyone I know, our birthdays don't go past June, because we can't be celebrating the whole year. So from June, we don't celebrate anything. It's Christmas from now on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But of course, in case you're celebrating your birthday today, you're celebrating it with the famous people like Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong is a space person who is in for NASA. He's celebrating birthday, and of course today you're also celebrating it with Johnson Heffernan, who lived from the year 1881 up to 1942. And of course today Reid Hoffman is celebrating his 58th birthday. He's one of the famous persons in the world, and the others that are also celebrating their birthdays in right today. And those are the famous people who are celebrating their birthday today. Yesterday, remember, we did have Barack Obama's birthday, and today we also have those famous people right in there. Let's cross over away from this.
Well, Aldo, before we cross over, people should know one thing about Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
He's actually the guy who, for some reason, dared to step on the moon.
True.
So that is what he is known for, aside from his work with NASA, of course. And Aldo, let me ask you, if Neil had not gone there, and for some reason you were there in that time, would you dare go to the moon?
Yeah, I would go to the moon.
You would go?
If you want to believe that I can go to the moon, you just give me some time, let me walk there. But let's get our song of the day. As this song is playing, I'll be walking to the moon, and when I come back here, I will be doing what we call the press breathing. What is in the papers today, right over there. And of course, Desire. This song touches me so much. It's a song of 10 minutes talking about corruption. 10 minutes. Have you ever heard this song? Corruption, corruption, corruption in the society.
Guys,
something
Aldo is
something.
singing. I think you have a personal testimony with corruption. Aldo is singing.
This inspires us after yesterday's Public Accounts Committee sitting, and there was a lot of issues of corruption in there. There were a lot of issues of public accountability, missing funds in one way or the other. So I decided to wake up this morning and listen to this song word by word for 10 minutes, but we're not going to listen. I watched this song for 10 minutes, for some few minutes right there, and we listen to some of the issues of corruption, and when we come for the press briefing, and later at the top of the hour, I would wish for us to discuss more together with Honorable Swale Haruna right over there. Let me cross over to my production room and check the control room if they can be able to play for us that very song of the day. It's an inspirational song that transpires issues of corruption. They send some music right over there. It is right. Take it over, production, from us. We come back with the press briefing.
streets, there's corruption. In private company, there's corruption. Everywhere, there's corruption. Some of us are corrupt. Everywhere, there's corruption. Something for something, nothing for nothing. Something for something, nothing for nothing. Something for something, nothing for nothing. Corruption, corruption, corruption in the society. Corruption, corruption, corruption in the society. Get away with corruption. Watch out, my friend. They're gonna get you. You gonna run away from justice. ADH of freedom. I work so hard to make a living every day for the little. Every day, like a slave. Every morning for my family. Come what may, and gonna stop. Come what may, and gonna change. Come what may, and gonna cry. Come what may, and gonna stop. The young school girl been corrupted. The big fish don't care about it. Some women straight for a job. What's the solution to this problem? Everywhere there's corruption. Everyone seems corrupt. Everywhere there's corruption. Something for something, nothing for nothing. Something for something, nothing for nothing. Corruption, corruption, corruption in the society. Nothing for nothing is nothing, but something for something is something. I will give you something. That is, if you give me something in return. That's the slogan of today, meaning corruption in the society.
Short break. That was a song Aldo has dedicated to you as we're fighting corruption in Uganda. I think Aldo has witnessed corruption live. Anyways. Aldo, corruption is never sweet. Otherwise, this is still the Morning Explorer with us in the studio. We are coming to you live, broadcasting from Arua City at the Host Innovation Village, as Aldo calls it. And you can still communicate with us, give us your views on Facebook. You can drop it on the comment section, and you can drop your comments or your questions on WhatsApp on the number on your screen. That is 0702321169, and we'll be able to catch your opinions and share it right here live on the studio. Please be part of the conversation. And as we mentioned earlier, because of the recent and the ongoing park activities in Arua City here, that is of course affecting the whole of West Nile at large. At the top of the hour, that is from 8 a.m., we will be having the Honorable Haruna in the studios with us, of course, to discuss issues that I know Aldo is going to bring up corruption in. So be tuned, and also to understand the impacts of this committee coming to Arua and West Nile at large. What could that mean for us and what could happen? So stay hooked with us for more information on this, and of course keep your views coming, keep dropping the comments, and we will catch you on our WhatsApp and on Facebook comments. Aldo. So as we told you earlier, we're coming for you with a news briefing, and today I want us to start with you on the New Vision. What is the New Vision telling us?
Yes, on the New Vision paper right over there, of course, one of the biggest, if you see just on my screen there, you'd be able to see something that is to do with, of course, the front page there. We have what we call the Uganda-South Sudanese ties right over there. And the biggest story there, we see the NRM unveils top road organs. We also have a story that injectable ARVs now prove effective. It's a health issue right over there. But of course, in their education, parents are saying that fee structure and infrastructure are their top concerns in the New Vision right over there. And Uganda-South Sudanese strengthens military ties is one of the biggest stories if you are able to see there. And of course, the story yesterday, a priest who actually had killed a child, who was suspected to have killed a child, has been arrested. But of course, the biggest picture owner that is at the New Vision paper today, you would be able to see the issue over the Uganda border issue right over there. I don't know whether Daily Monitor has that story very bigly captured in there, and that is what the New Vision is having right over there. Yes.
You can catch more of that with getting a copy of the New Vision this morning. Always grab it with your tea, with your coffee, and get yourself informed. On the Daily Monitor, we have the NRM primaries petition tribunal to deliver first judgment today, actually, this very Tuesday. Last week, actually, starting from the 29th of July is when this tribunal, these petitions began. And as they have promised, actually, Aldo, they are beginning to deliver. So today, you should expect to receive some feedback from the tribunal. And please get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor to follow more on this story and get to see what is actually coming your way for your city, for your district, right here in Uganda.
Yeah, just like what you said about the tribunal right over there. I remember yesterday we did have a legal person in here to try to understand these tribunals very well. And we had insights over, that is lawyer Sami, who works at Oderman Company Advocates. Remember, they are also representing two of the people who have been petitioned in there. So they have been hearing about in the physically at the NRM Secretariat at, of course, in Kampala, whereby they represented people like Honorable Ultimately Booty Jackson, who was petitioned in by Deborah Ronald over the Arua Central Division elections right over there. We also did hear that yesterday from the legal persons who defended, of course, Tio, who has also been petitioned by, that is a Feta Godfrey of Waivu. Remember the other petitions that are coming in from Lower Madi, the others are from, of course, Upper Madi, there are those in Arua. So all these petitions today were not, the Secretariat Legal Affairs person, that is Barata Enoch, has not yet come clearly to mention which ones will be given here in a final judgment today. But of course, the biggest thing they have put in that story is that they will be done on case by case, not like group hearing and then boom, it is poured out there. Remember, NRM has only from today up to Thursday to release these hearings over this. Remember, they also had 29 days for all these petitions, over 400 according to what we had yesterday, petitions issued to go in, not only the MP elections, but going in for others like, of course, the mayoral and all this. Remember, the elections are also still going on Desire. We have noted they are elected our councillors, in of course that the directly elected councillors, and of course on 18th Thursday there will also be another primary elections. Yeah, it's a very big story politically.
Yes, in another headline, Uganda is going digital. This is in health. Uganda moves to regulate digital health to protect patient data. Now, if you're not up to date with this, actually, as a country, Uganda has been embracing the electronic medical record system where patients' details can actually be kept right on the computer. And I think this is really something beautiful. However, the country as a whole is coming up with regulatory policies to ensure that as we embrace this new technology, technology, we are able to protect the data and details of our patients, because we know what happens when a data is entered into the computer. Anything could happen to it. You can get more of this on the Daily Monitor, and also would like to get your opinions and your comments on these particular stories. What do you think? So you drop your comments, you drop your opinions right on WhatsApp on the number that we read that is projecting on your screen, and as you're streaming live on Facebook, you can also drop a comment in the comment section right there. We will catch you.
Yes, of course, on that very story there, if you're able to see it very clearly also that now that if you go to the hospital, the one of the documents they ask from you is your NIN number from your national ID. And that actually tells you that we have moved away from paper where those years you have to go to the OPD, then they ask for your name, they take this and that. But now, everything is on your NIN number. They just get your NIN number, it has all your details, then you're served in a very efficient way. That is the way to go digitally. But the key you make is very valid. Digital security is a very key thing. Data of such magnitude. Imagine if someone steals the data of Ugandans and uses it to profit and do other things, even bad things. So it would be something very good the government.
And Aldo, on the bright side, this actually means a lot for Uganda, especially given our history in the health sector. You know, someone comes sick. This means that when you come to the hospital at any minute, they can pull out your records, your medical history, and be able to actually give you more appropriate services. When your doctors actually know your history medically, they're able to diagnose you more accurately. So this is something really beautiful coming in for Ugandans.
In terms of health, on page 3 over that is a new vision. There's a very big story about the injectable ARVs that have proved to be working. Remember, there have been a lot of issues around ARVs, the USAID card, whereby there were issues to say, will we survive without the USAID card? How will you gonna get ARVs? But of course, there's a health story in here, and it is talking about injectable ARVs. You know, sometimes swallowing these pills is not easy. But of course, there are those injectable ones that, according to, of course, the new vision paper of today, proves now to be very effective. And this is on page 3 of the new vision paper, that if you buy it now, you'll be able to read a lot of stories in the injectable ARVs. It's a very big story that the new vision has captured right over there.
Yes, I think we're doing great health-wise. In the Daily Monitor, you can see today, we have 50 Ugandan children sent to India for free heart surgery. Although, unfortunately, people do not see this, but there's actually a lot of issues to do with heart complication and organ issues in children and infants that I think we do not talk about it enough, but in partnership with the Indian government, we're actually sending 50 of these children to get free heart surgeries. This is something that has killed so many children because not every parent can afford to fly a child outside, and I think this also calls us as Ugandan. When are we going to have these systems installed here so that, you know, the layman can afford to live?
You know, it's very hard for a poor man to get the surgery done because there are a lot of millions involved in there. Leave alone the million, the flight tickets to fly out here, getting visa, and all these things is also something very big that we should be able to know on. But we're hopeful that we have a listening government that continues to listen to the priorities of Ugandans right over there. That is why we have been seeing over the last decades, there are specialized hospitals that are now coming on, and there have been a lot of equipping. And remember those years back, we even did have CT scan machines. Someone who gets a head injury has to be driven to Kampala. Now that we have it regionally in Gulu and in Arua City, even the Yumbe Referral Hospital right over there. So these are issues that I think the government continues to see, that health is something very big on. Away from health, there's a very big story in here that has been surfacing for the last 2 days. Remember the story of a priest who killed a teen in church, and of course that is in Buyende district. Of course the police in Buyende district are now holding up the two suspects, that is the Catholic priest and of course the driver, who were connected to be part of the mother of this teen right over there. Justice been seen in this, of course, in this story that for the last 2 days we did report. That is New Vision. I don't know whether the Daily Monitor has that story right there, but it's a very big story that the New Vision has right here.
Yes, Aldo, this is actually also captured on the Daily Monitor. This is a story we've been following since yesterday, something that happened over the weekend. Yesterday it was just an allegation, but I think if there's an arrest, then that means the police could actually be having something big leading on there. Talking about arrest, Aldo.
Maybe just, did you know that actually this story here, this boy was found dead in the stores of the church, and in Buyende district, he was a 14-year-old boy who was late early in the morning discovered dead, and 2 people were arrested for that, the driver and the priest right over there. I just wanted the viewer to be very particular on that, particularly the age of that boy, 14 years, dead in a church premises inside the store of a priest. Yes.
Finally, on the Daily Monitor, we can see an interesting story here. Makerere student jailed over TikTok comments about the president and the Honorable Anita Among. Now, Uganda is going through a very critical season right now. This is the political season. And the one thing people don't understand is that anything you say or speak can actually incite people to do things. And especially for us TikTokers and the youth, nowadays we are known to express our grievances, which is, Uganda is a free country. But what we speak really impacts people a lot. You can incite violence actually with one comment on Twitter. That is how terrible media can be.
You know, there's something, and I just want people to understand. We can use this media for effective communication. We can use them without even abusing someone. So there are a lot of issues happening in here. We also keep on saying, keep dropping us your comments right over there about the stories or what you hear from us. Be part of this discussion, the Morning Explorer team right here on a Host TV, by always making sure that you can WhatsApp us on the number 070-2321-169. Where are you catching us from? And these stories, if they matter to you, what are your comments that you could be able to just drop it right over there. A lot of stories in here. And of course, the SEC election for NRM is one big story that also we did continue to see happening in the New Vision papers today. The roadmap has been set. Remember, from 18th to 20th, the NRM will be sitting in Kampala. All the members of the NRM will be voting for the SEC position, and out of this, there's only one position that has not been contested for. Not only one, but 3. There's one for the party chairman. You know, the party chairman, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He has been unopposed. The members, there was no one to challenge him. And of course, there was the workers' representative who went unopposed. So there are others who are going in for Anita Among is one person. Remember yesterday there was a story about how the roads in and around the country were able to not allow them to move, particularly traverse easily the country. So we would be seeing that the roadmap is already out, how NRM will be electing their top leadership over the party, right over their desire. There's no one from West Nile who has contested for that position. And it's a big story that I think what this means for West Nile, we have the highest number of delegates going to vote in here, but there's no one who has contested for that, any SEC position from West Nile. Yes.
Yeah, I think that now comes in as a matter of representation. And Aldo, as you discussed last week, you know, West Nile plays a very big part when it comes to NRM. West Nile is really a big footing for NRM, and I think it's a shame that we, as a region, have not sent anyone to actually, you know, West Nile deserves a seat. There are more than one seat. So I think as a region, we have to reflect and see what is really going on, because we were doing okay, but this is, I would say, one step back for us as a region. Yeah. Yes, and then also talking about that story about the TikToker that has been arrested. Now, this is a period, Aldo, of elections, and this is when we actually get to think and see, what did this person do for us, or what can this person do for us? And as youth, we really have to find a way of airing out our voices, because Aldo, this is actually the time we have to speak up and let the country know, let our leaders know what it is that we need as citizens of this country. But of course, there are very effective and reasonable ways of doing that do not involve violence. We can speak up. There are platforms that people have for young people to speak. You can use your media to educate people. Let people understand what it is like to vote. Let people understand the procedures that they need to follow to have their voice heard. You know, as young people who are educated, let's educate others.
For me, I want to particularly speak this in a local language, and for us, we think that TikTok should only be for abusing people, and we think that TikTok that is not actually the way to go. I want us, if akatenga TikTok are you responsibly, maybe how to teach the Lugbara language, how to do many things right over there. It should actually transform our community in one way or the other. But away from that TikTok story, there's a very big story in here that also concerns the region. Peace returns to Yumbe. Remember, this week there were 4 people who were killed over the clash between UPDF and the South Sudanese soldiers over the border disputes in Yumbe. That is a very well, and I remember there's a big story that now say peace returns to Yumbe. That is a Fitinambaya village. Remember that village very well, where there was an issue there. I don't know whether the Daily Monitor has captured that story, but there's a very big story that is, if you buy the New Vision paper today, the front page you'll be able to see that story clearly right over their desire. It's a very big story. And if you, I don't know whether you can be able to take us through some of the stories right over there, but it's a very big one. Uganda Army, that is a Sudanese soldier, they had a very big meeting that was yesterday. Are there any other stories that are of interest to the region that we can be able to check from the papers right over there?
Yes, this is for us who are, I said us, I'm spiritual in Kampala. If you're in Kampala, the KCCA has secured shillings 3 billion grant to stabilize the Chitezi landfill. Now, if you are following this Chitezi landfill, last year actually, Aldo, lives were lost on this, and Red Cross had to actually go and provide some relief. And now KCCA is taking actions towards this. They have secured 3 billion. This is on the Daily Monitor. You can catch it there to stabilize. If you get time, you should get a copy of the Daily Monitor and go through this story. This was last year. It was really a very sad story when lives were lost. This is actually a garbage landfill, and it had some sort of like a landslide, so that killed a lot of people. You can get more of this story on the Daily Monitor. Get yourself a copy. I don't know if the New Vision captures that, but get a copy of the Daily Monitor today and the New Vision and get yourself updated and see what is coming, what is happening around the country. And also, as Aldo has said, please keep yourself hooked up for any updates on the park committee activity that is going on in Arua City right now. And if you have spare time, why not run to the city right now and keep yourself, getting live information and learn something.
I think for me, after the program, right, I remember the Morning Explorer runs from the hours of 6 to 9 a.m. I'll be going straight to, of course, Arua City headquarters right over there to try to check up what the park interventions or maybe the interfaces are going on, and I don't know if, Desire, you also promise that I'm going to tag along with you and see if we can be able to listen physically and understand what it means to be on park and what are some of the issues that our local governments are doing behind our scenes that we need the public to also understand on that issues of park right over there. Yes.
Yes, Aldo, I can tag along as long as they have coffee. And that reminds me of the most important part of your day. Somebody gave an advice today that this is why you should have your breakfast. If you do not have breakfast, you will not have an energy to revenge on your enemies. So make sure you grab yourself that breakfast. That is the energy and the motivation of the day. And every morning, remember to have something protein-packed and filled with enough carbohydrates and vitamins, because you need the strength and we need to grow. So for today, Aldo, this is what we're serving you, because since you're going far, you need this you need the breakfast more than I do. We are having a cup of regular Ugandan tea. I just want you to imagine the smell of that tea.
For the first time,
the tangawizi flavor
Desire has forgotten about coffee and he's talking about tea.
But imagine the tangawizi smell, that ginger. That's what we're having with some, Aldo loves Rolex, so we're having Rolex on the side. Now, Aldo.
Yes.
Vitamin is very important. And I had this weird combination someone laughed at, but try Rolex with a side of sukuma. Then tell me about it tomorrow.
I'll travel to Kenya and try to understand more about Sukuma Wiki and how it became actually Sukuma Wiki that way. But there's something that you always like about coffee. There's something you like about cassava. Today you've missed them out. I don't know. Are we trying to see change of government in terms of your breakfast? Or and avocado you've also missed on it. My camera crew and the production team are just trying to whisper.
I didn't miss it. It's the obvious, okay? The unchanging variable. That's why I didn't mention it. But it is healthy. Now, Aldo, just a small tip here. Do you know, most people don't realize this, but breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You rather miss the other meals, but have a heavy breakfast. The problem is you're going to have a heavy meal at the end of the day when you're not going to use those nutrients, and that is unhealthy.
But do you know, for us, there's that breakfast, Inya bombe opogoni, eh?
Cold power.
Cold
Anyone who
power,
went to
eh?
Public school in
Hey,
Yapadara.
so cold power is cold power breakfast or it is what? Banzengo dem opogo breakfast in akono opogo adone. Eh?
That breakfast, it is us who think breakfast must have tea. Inenga,
Ah.
get that leftover food. Sakateyo, you just warm the sauce. As in the ati mitibi de umranya sambiza, you eat. It's
Ira ndo opogo me yonzere, eh? Sa zamalia. Bazi lo opogo nya, ina rati opogo se benu dukora. Ari nyo opogo malu tukutuwazi so ifiru ridu ziru ina teba ko tata za di, eh?
Experience.
Otukutu da fi, osasa da lu Luciano otukutu da fi perele. Va de nyo tata de dente ati otukutu touch. Va ngo kugbe.
Now, Aldo, now the special Arua breakfast is the, students' cuisines. Korokoto. Concrete, the anyoya, bafado side, you mix it with the rice, avocado.
Anyo ijienda ya wazi nira. Mjinga kamera mabudwa. Misenga kamera ya wala. Anyo ijiora alumende. Okwazo okuchibo mve media anyo yozindra ika nyozi students meselia and school where keep meselia la mia paraka siku midiozi anyo ili almost ili siro midiozi anyo almost ili mudri media bazana kwa ni mwanyo yozi ruelia irokozi anza republic primary republic secondary school niva rakimu anyo nyaora so kwa zimu ifode okuna mo offside anzika ko kuna moderas das okuri modera rone idanyo yozi ididrigbaria de kumbi anzika anyo nyanzika lo revo balance ya i uzi senda revo anyo everko uzi ki woro balance romera anzika ogweni mungu alo ika student life I give up on you guys if you're a student and
Don't joke with Arua, but I think Arua, being a student in Arua is the most beautiful thing. And they say if you're in Uganda and you have not gone to public school, you have not experienced life yet. But otherwise, please be part of this conversation. Let us know what you think. And you can also give us your, memorable and your experience in this city here, because we know we all have stories to tell. You can keep the chat with us on Facebook, drop your comments, and you can catch us on WhatsApp on the number projecting on your screen. That is 0702321169. Drop your opinion, drop your testimonies, and we will catch you right on air.
There are also those who are watching us on Facebook, and those who are catching us on Afro Mobile. There are those who are watching us on Yo TV, and there's Pato Nixon Gonzalez is watching live. Thanks for this. Thank you very much, Pato. And thanks for being part of this discussion. Always the morning program comes your way right here on a Host TV from 6 to 9 a.m. And this is where we bring for you the updates, what's happening, what's trending, the press briefing, the history that you didn't know before that happened on this very day. Remember, this is always a dedicated program that comes on Host TV. And as November started in here, they were 2 months with October and November, but of course I'm talking about August. We have upgraded Host TV that now you can watch us on, if you have an Hisense screen, just without decoder, you can be able to watch us right over there, so long as it's a smart TV. Or if it's a digital Hisense TV, you can be able to get yourself a smart box, or you can be able to get yourself connected using the Android smart box and download the Afro Mobile app, where you can be able to watch Host TV right in your living room on your big screen. Even if it's a 60-inch screen, we always broadcast on high quality HD broadcast, and our quality is very good. Our cameras and our setup and everything keeps on going on very perfectly well right over there. And of course, that is what the morning is right here. Remember, at the top of the hour, we'll be having Honorable Swale Aruna right here to talk about some of the issues that transpired yesterday during the park, and today the park is also sitting in to interface with other local governments in there. So Desire will be getting in to get to usher in a new face in the discussion right over there. That is Swale Haruna. What do you expect?
Well, Aldo,
Yeah.
me, what I know is it's going to be an interesting discussion. In this country, when we're talking about money, it gets very interesting. So stay tuned with us, and on those platforms that we have told you, you can communicate. Our number on the WhatsApp still remains 0702321169, and keep dropping those comments on your Facebook Live. We'll be able to catch up with you. And Aldo,
Yeah.
before we go for our small break, because the reason we actually go for break today, let me tell you, Aldo needs to be sipping sugar every few minutes, otherwise he will.
No, the issue is here. the discussion we're coming for needs a lot of energy, because when you have Honorable Swale Haruna in studio, remember Swale Haruna did aspire for, that is at the position of the MP for Arua Central just in the recently concluded election that happened recently in Arua City. And we'll be having him to discuss some of the issues that happened in the park interface with, that is the theme of Gilbert Olanya and Honorable Tuka Isaac, who is the lead counsel for that park. A lot of issues happened in there, and we want to, after this break, we'll be bringing Honorable Swale Haruna in studios, and we need a heavy breakfast for this. That's what I was wondering, why you missed out on the issues of the breakfast. Anyoya was missing out, and other issues were missing. So Swale Haruna will be joining us in that discussion later on when we come back from this break here. So what are your expectations? Corruption, that was our theme song of the day. Terego grilled, Moyo disorganized with issues of Dufele Seeds Secondary School, which is seed school. And of course, today we'll be here and also in the Parks Committee. Yumbe District will be interfaced right over there, and other districts within administrative units within West Nile. So a lot of issues are happening right there. Desire, before we go for break, what comes into your mind?
Yes, this is a moment of accountability, and please stay tuned with us so that you can explore together and understand what this means for Arua City and for West Nile at large. What could be happening and what changes should we expect? And as we said before, your questions are very important in this matter, because this is a matter that affects all of us. Please, if you're watching on Facebook, drop the comments, drop the questions. And on WhatsApp, we are online right now waiting for your questions. We will catch your opinions on 0702 321169. This is the Morning Explorer. Keep hooked up with us. We're coming back in a moment. Thank you.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a name.
You have a name? Do you have a name? Do not be like Mweve. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty, and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress, and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits, and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa, or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284*173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.
Yes, viewer, welcome back to the second hour of the Morning Explorer happening right here on Host TV. Remember, we're coming live from Host Hub Innovation Village in Arua City. And in the second hour, as we did promise to you, we will be ushering in a very special guest in studio. And of course, on Tuesdays, we focus this basically on issues affecting the community. And I'm pleased to say that besides the two duos for the Morning Explorer program on Host TV, that is Desire and Aldo, we now have a guest who I will be introducing shortly. But remember, if you're getting us on, that is the Afro Mobile app, those who are also getting us on Your TV, and those who are getting us on Facebook will be getting to hear your interactions. You can drop your comment right where the stream is going on there, or you can also use our WhatsApp line, that is a 07023211169, to keep your comments coming in here as we'll be discussing a very big issue on the Public Accounts Committee hearings that are happening in Arua City. Yesterday, we did have districts like Maracha. Remember, Maracha was actually earlier interfaced in the morning. They were sent away because of lack of documents, because if you interface in Park, there are issues where you talk with evidence, and evidence as documents right over there. I must say, in the studio, I'm pleased to have Honorable Swale Haruna, who is a politician, a seasoned political analyst, right over here. Yes, Honorable Desire, you're able to see we have someone whom we have been seeing on posters all over, very vocal in terms of community issues. Yes, I don't know what you would expect Swale to be. I want you to be the one to officially welcome him and allow him to introduce himself to us.
I am, if you can see me right now, I'm trying not to disappear in my chair. You know, I was raised that when big people are in the house, so I'm trying to be humble. Otherwise, Honorable, it is an honor to have you in the studio right now. Aldo and I and everyone watching right now, we've had a lot of questions cooking in our mind because, as you are aware, the park is right here in Arua City, and we are being audited from every corner. And as of yesterday, actually, some districts have gone home with a lot of questions already. You know, they have been asked to bring their report cards for the previous terms, for school fees that was paid. So, you know, before we dive into these things, because we are really going to dive into it from every angle, we want to know, let the people know who is speaking to us today. Aside from the name we've given, they have to know who you are. Who is Honorable Haruna?
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm honored. And My name is Swaleh Haruna. I aspired as an MP in the recently concluded NRM primaries. And the topic that we have is a very sensitive one, and it touches the community most. You know, Arua City's biggest issue is people staying in homes that they don't own, like titles, you know. Because when you look at the setup of our city, people are staying in the city with a mentality of staying in the district. Recently, you followed some events. People moved here to Kampala. They wanted to move out of the city. It kept me asking, what is that bad thing in the city that is driving people away? So that thing triggered very many questions, unanswered questions, but I was unable to do my research, and I used this campaign period to sensitize people. When you're in the city, you must be fully in the city. Thank you very much for...
Yes, Swaleh Haruna, just before we start this discussion here, I want us to watch this video that we were able to capture as Host TV from yesterday's park hearings in that is the central, of course, the central city of Arua for West Nile, where we did have Honorable Gilbert Olanya, we did have Honorable Etuka, who is the lead counsel to that very hearing. And in this video, you're able to see some of the issues affecting our local governments, and most especially Teregu. I just want us to listen to this production. Please, could you just play for us that very video of the park hearing? We want to connect and try to see. Remember, there will be hearings also today, right over there. Just from you, could we have a glimpse of what happened?
We say the identification of registered is a problem. It means if a little group identifies 20 people in the same household, you don't bother, it's none of your business because it's a conflict group. So, are you in charge of your district?
Yes, Chair, I'm in charge. Whether these things happened before I was posted today.
And the council officer, what are your role in identifying the register? Are you guiding, are you teaching them what they're supposed to do? I can't realize the result as if you don't matter. Whether 10 people from the same household selected is not going to be. For you just be a let every single one. Are you being serious?
Yeah. My role as the pillar manager of financial inclusion is to train the circle leaders on what they should do. I have minutes here where the circle leaders allocate this money according to interest groups. 30% for women, 30% for youth, 10% for people.
We are not satisfied with the explanation. All your district officials are speaking differently. We don't understand you. Therefore, we cannot continue with this engagement. We shall invite you to...
Yes, and of course, from that video, we just played the audios right over there, and that was the interface where we did have Teregu district right in there. And remember, Teregu had issues, a lot of issues. One, the PDM issue. Money which was supposed to be meant for the groups got disappeared in the system, whereby the responses was that they had diverted around 9,520,000 for community sensitization, for community barazas, and this money was nowhere to be seen. That even they failed to account for this money. Honorable Swaleh Haruna, looking at such issues happening for Teregu, and I know when we talk about Teregu, Teregu is still child of Arua City. Previously, that were the counties, and we also did see the issues of multiple payments, or see a family getting PDM. So there are a lot of issues around PDM. What comes into your mind when we talk about PDM being messed up? And the final ruling from the park committee was actually that Terego should go back and organize themselves, because they had the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, was speaking something different. The accounting officer was speaking different. The focal person for PDM, who also later said he's not the focal person. There was a lot of confusion in for Terego. What is the issue between PDM, just managing this simple money that the government is giving to community? What has PDM done to us? Maybe as you, as honorable, you have a better aspirations for that. Yes.
You know, PDM is meant to uplift people's livelihood, and it is something that sets a foundation that's trigger the development aspects, ideas from you. Because now when you look at PDM, the money given, like if they give like 1 million, they want to see what you do with this money. And then as you progress with some group members, you may find that now you move further. Government can be able to support you further. But the problem with the PDM implementation is the mindset of the people. The mindset of the people. You know, people have that mentality that government money is there to be eaten. Yeah. So you find when government gives such kind of money for people, you find they end up messing it up. And then other thing is also you find in the implementation space, there's people don't understand how some of these programs really work. You may, just like in a class, you may find that very many students are taught the same thing, but you find when they examined, they get different marks. So sometimes perception issues are very key in this community. And then at the end part of it, when in evaluating the performance of these things, you may find that some corruption issues arise, but government's effort to fight corruption needs to be beefed up, because you may find that whoever steals money, you may find they talk about it, and when a person is, they say the person is arrested, you find few days the person is out. So that one there, it blesses corruption instead of fighting it.
And what would be that thing that you envision through, of course, you had been a political person? What could be your vision for PDM if you, as a political analyst, how best could these issues be solved out? Because this was something very simple, to oversee the groups, give the money to them, but now we are seeing Terego, around 9 million, they have actually been called to refund that money from their salaries. The CF, the accounting officer with the focal person, this money cannot be, that's a case of corruption already. So what could be the right approaches to managing PDM? Because we have been seeing a lot of guidelines coming in. Even collecting the money is very hard now. No one has started paying. There are people who are paying back the PDM. So what would you see as a political analyst for that case?
When you look at PDM, for PDM to be, for us to enhance it, transparency and accountability in PDM, one important thing that we need to do is to fight the issue of stage management. Stage management. You know, people don't like these things of things being very procedural. You do these, a lot of paperwork, bureaucracy. If we can fight bureaucracy, and something should be made very simple to people, and sensitizing the community on details of how PDM runs, those are the key things that they want to know. Because if somebody doesn't know what something is intended to solve, it will be very difficult to solve it. And implementation may be very difficult. But in this case of PDM, this is something that has been running. And I think in areas where PDM is failing, you may find that it's a deliberate effort just to fail it because of the tendencies of corruption and trying to divert the money in other areas, you see. So this kind of visits by the PAC committee is really very good. In this kind of, we will need this kind of reports to see how we follow it behind here. Because implementation of government programs needs collective effort. Collective effort. You who is in the community, you must be the eye and the ear of the government. We should not fear these programs. But some issues of training needs to be done to the people, like the method of reaching people. These government officers may look at only the radio, but how many people listen to radio? You see that? So they must come up with other ways of engaging the community. apart from on the radio, maybe
Now,
through Host TV?
Honorable, Arua is one of the cities, of course, as we are not only the host, but we are one of the cities that yesterday Park looked at. Now, if you look at PDM in Arua, actually, Aldo, last year we had an incident. We had issues around PDM.
PDM for sex.
Yes, and for which several people in Arua were actually, the city took action immediately. A lot of people were brought in front of the law for that. A lot of people were really arrested, others, so these issues surrounding PDM, yet today we see that Arua is actually among the cities that have been able to capture these issues of PDM. So can we attribute it maybe to the quick action of the city? And then also, as Aldo has pointed out, what measures did we take as a city to make sure? Because if it comes to the issue of people disappearing or someone trying to divert the PDM money, we experienced this massively last year. But somehow we still have managed to arrest that issue. So what can you say? Of course, as a politician in this city, I know you might have known which tricks we have used to capture this. What can be said there?
With these issues, we sometimes need to, let's say, we need collective effort. No one can do things the way it's supposed to be done, single-handedly. We need collective effort. Government has very many institutions for fighting corruption. Government corruption unit, we have YGT, these offices are there. When you see something is going wrong in the community, you should not keep quiet. When you see it, you go to the authorities, make sure that you are attended to. And that's how we're going to fight corruption. Because if we just see it, it is going to be an industry. Yeah? You find like the last financial year, you find about 11 trillion of the national budget was taken into corruption. So you will see how really corruption is eating up the country.
Just on this, yesterday also in the Parks Committee, we did see for Aivu, there were some people who have been arrested actually. This has not been to the media, but yesterday as we were in there, as of Friday, one of the group persons who swindled around 5 million was also arrested. People are taking this money, and there have been these PDC committees who continue to use this money for their own benefits and other things in one way or the other. So what could be the issue that there was something that Desire did mention about in the Kenya ward, where we had some time back, the PDM for sex saga, where the PDCs, the persons who are supposed to be the one to identify and verify these communities, were using them for sex issues. So a lot of issues around PDM in that case. I just wanted your political analyst on why should this be, you talked about the training, how should these trainings be done to the PDCs and to those who are managing these committees? Yes.
When you say PDM for sex, these are individual initiatives. It's not a government program that money must be given for sex. No, that's not how government works. But these are individual weaknesses. These are weaknesses of the implementers. So you may find that they take advantage of the people since somebody wants money, and then but those are just small things. We concentrate on the bigger picture, on how the program is going to impact on the lives of very many people. That is what we look at.
Then if we also go on, there are some comments that are coming in here on our Facebook already. I'm seeing people like Samson Akol. He's also watching this. You can keep your comments coming right here. Those, you can also, there's a number that is running on your screen. That is a 07023211669. Your comments or reviews and everything that is on this. Let's also, yesterday on Teregu's case still, there was an issue whereby the accounting officer failed to use 4.5 billion over the total budget over that is at Terego, and this cuts across through very many local governments. And when the response they gave was that that money was actually money for wages, because which was voted back into the treasury and later on brought back to the budget for this financial year that has ended. But the CFO also, the Chief Financial Officer also went ahead to confuse the hearing to say that actually in the breakdown, that 4.5 accounted for money which was meant for wages for support staff under UNHCR. There was also money which is supposed to be meant for community activities, around 1 billion. So what is the issue? What could be some of the ways in which the local governments are failing to meet the community in one way or the other? Money that is supposed to be for community is not utilized. What are the issues affecting? You are a politician and you've been going in for your campaigns in there. What are some of the issues that make it very hard for community to perceive or maybe to take what you guys are doing as politicians right over there?
Issues of budgeting. Much as Parliament does the appropriation and the disbursement is decentralized to this local government. And when money comes like this, you find sometimes money ends up not being used because of what? Procedures. Like you may find that you may have budget for buying something or maybe construction something, but you find the procurement process becomes very, very hectic. It takes beyond what? The time of the actual work. So you may find such money is tied, and with the government doesn't allow mischarge. If money is in one budget line, you cannot use it for another one without permission, you get it. So when such a thing is towards the end of the financial year, you may find that the financial year ends and when that money goes back. But there's a way you can commit that money for that same project, so that next financial year you resume when that money is there. So it's just a matter of making people know how government processes work. And you find some of these people are new still in government. The mistakes they're making are really costing the government so much. But in such kind of engagements, when they're identified, they must be guided to do the right thing. They must be guided to do right. Unless it is consistent that they are always wrong, that's when you take punitive actions against them.
Now, Honorable, this leads us to this question, because now we're seeing one of the challenges, aside from money being used and not accounted for, we actually have issues of money being there, released by the government, as you're mentioning, but the local government fails to disperse this money for the different activities that it is supposed to go for. Things like the community engagement. Now we're looking at issues with support staff wages. So we have this money. Now, what could really cause us to fail to utilize this money? Because you see, the layman down there, when we don't see certain things moving, our first thought is there is no money. That is Uganda. Government should give us money. Government is not releasing our money. But now we are seeing that this money is there and we have failed to use it. What is the issue? Why have we failed to utilize the money which is readily available for us, and now it is going back to the government to be resent to us? That means a whole financial year we have failed to use the money given to us. What is the problem?
For example, you may find that you budget for recruitment of more people into the government, and then in the process, because of the recruitment process, interview, advertisement, and all those things, you find that the time you have stipulated is not what? It's not enough. And then you may find that the money that has really been there, you cannot use that money just the way it is. You must use it using the right procedures. Procedures are the things that is the biggest hindrance in absorption of budget. So you may find money is allocated there, you see the figure there, but you cannot use it just because you have not attained some 2 or 3 documents to clear the procedure. So those are but for the purpose of making sure that money that comes at least is used in the right thing, people should start planning early. You get it? Early planning and budgeting, it helps a lot in absorption, so that when the money comes, you will know.
So should we assume that the issue could actually be the very people on the ground who are supposed to maybe, write requisitions for this money or follow certain procedures to get this money on ground, or maybe it is bureaucracy up there? Someone is supposed to sign, but so what is the issue? Is it us down here or up there somehow?
Those things are there. You may find that somebody money comes, somebody keeps quiet. Some people want to delay the process, so that these are tendencies of corruption. You may find that when you have that money and it's not being absorbed, you just delay, you don't give people information, you get it. So you may find that government has a program, sends money to the city, to the implementers, but people don't know that the money is there. So if people don't come, you will not spend that money. You get it? If they don't come, you will not spend that money. So it's all about getting the right beneficiaries on board with the necessary requirements and then dispatching the money to them.
Yeah, one of the key issues on this was also the issue of education, and on education we did see the SEED secondary schools on spotlight for Moyo, that is a Dufele SEED secondary school. And I remember this was an initiative whereby we're trying to structure science education in, and one of the things was to stock these schools with laboratory equipment, uplifting the structures in one way or the other. So money, which was meant for Dufele SEED secondary school completion, was misused in a way that there were issues with the accounting officers who sent the money to the contractor, full money 100%, and the work has not been done. The science equipment laboratory was not done. The work was not fully commissioned, but an accounting officer of Moyo decided to send 100% payment, and now millions of money has gone into missing, and this has affected the implementation of SEED secondary schools in the region, and our spotlighting on Dufele SEED secondary school. And you, as a political person, you have a very ambitious goal for education, and this could not only be the issue with Dufele. There are other SEED secondary schools in like in Kerwa, we had one, in of course those in Arua, those in Teregu. So what would be the education priorities? Why are we still seeing these issues, mishaps, misappropriation of funds, and later on conniving? Actually, the biggest thing was conniving. The finance officers connived with the contractor to wire the money. So as a political analyst, we also want to get you on these issues that the park is investigating. How would you politically analyze this situation? And for a common person who is watching us on Host TV, we also want to get your view on this very discussion right there. Yes, Honorable Swale Haruna, I just wanted you to see and share your insights on this as well.
In Uganda, one thing that a behavior that is growing up is there's a way things are supposed to be done. And then now there's a way how things are actually being done. You see that? So those two differences cause a lot of problems to the country. Like things like education. First of all, giving that money wholly for the whole project once is a big mistake. You're supposed to give this money in phases. After completing one phase, the person gives a certificate. Or maybe the school, if you like, it's a foundation level, you take it for one phase. After finishing, you give a certificate of completion, you go to the walls and all those things. So giving that money once like this is very bad, and it has costed the government. I think the people who did that, who were involved in that thing, should be all summoned and they be accountable. Fighting corruption, we need to be very serious. Otherwise, with our region, we're going to miss a lot. In the education sector, generally, when this performance of schools these days, people look at, say, electricity, what, but my main question that always comes is, how is this student? Did the student eat last night? There's some cognitive issues that people ignore. How is this person's life after school? Does that person, that's what you see, it becomes very difficult. There's some things you cannot know, but you generalize. If you want to solve a problem, you must go to the specifics, the root cause analysis. There you will be able to find a good solution. And my belief is, if you don't have a role in the problem, you cannot come up with a perfect solution. It's just a gamble. You get it? Unless you know how the problem came, the mistake you make, you get rid of the mistake, that's where a solution comes. So these issues really of corruption in the secondary school, CD construction, that's a very big mistake. And since it has been identified, the people should be held accountable.
There's a comment coming in from J.R. Prince. Is actually thanking the SO and also thanking Swale Haruna, Honorable Swale Haruna, for those very great submissions. Remember, you can be part of the discussion by dropping your comment right over there where this is going on Facebook. We also have this on Your TV, on Afro Mobile, and you can use our WhatsApp line that is running on the screens right over there for you to be part of this discussion right there. Swale Haruna, now coming to you as a political person and as someone who aspires to be a leader, and recently you did participate in the NRM primary elections. Going forward, what are you petitioning? Because we did see also the petitions are coming in today. Or what do you have to say about the recently concluded election? People voted for you. There are those who trusted you. At least you had some votes in some areas. Only that it is said that politicians don't go through because you did not get enough number to go to the next race. So what is cooking in your political camp right over there as Honorable Swaleh Aruna, as an aspiring MP and as an active politician in here?
When you look at the recent concluded elections, to me, I achieved a lot. It was not a failure. I did not fail. If you look at the way the whole thing was conducted, because I asked people, I said, in your life, have you ever seen a politician who comes 1 month to the election?
Wait, just I want this to be clear. Viewer Swaleh Aruna is asking a question. Have you ever seen a politician who comes 1 month to the election? And I want you to break this statement more. What does this mean? Because you're speaking in poems, in poetic language.
Parables.
Parables. We want to understand that statement very well.
There are two types of leaders. There's the reactionary and situational leaders, and we have visionary leaders. Reactionary situational leaders, you find that they wait for a problem to come, and then you see their leadership. You get it? But my type of leadership is where I foresee a problem. If you followed my campaign, when I was campaigning, I was telling people things they don't know. I know what the society needs. And Arua's biggest issue, as in the beginning I told you, is not what people talk. People are illegally in the city. If you move everywhere in the city, let me say 90% of the people, they don't have land title. And you call yourself in a city. So what does that one mean? It means you don't have a land title, you qualify for ground rent. You're going to pay ground rent. You get it? On this land that you don't own, you go ahead and construct a house. You come up with the property. There you are going to pay property tax. You get it? Now, this building that you have built on a land that is not legally yours, you give it out for rent. You qualify to pay rental tax. So time will come, you'll ask yourself, have I built for government or it's my own building? You get it? So that's the dilemma. I see these things coming. So when I was telling people during campaign, when I was talking to them, you'll see people are getting shocked. People are they were not getting everything right.
So what is the solution going forward? Land title, the cost of land title, and all this happenings in here.
I'm here in Arua. I've started engaging some of these officers and the people in the ministry. I'm going to come up with programs to see that at least I think I'm going to move now people from district to city. At least everyone should have their title. That's what we're going to do in these 5 years, registering people. This was a program that I had planned regardless of the outcome of the elections.
Yeah.
And for my people, so that they're saved. Sometimes leadership is good when you do things for the benefit of others. You get it? So when I see this is the main thing that many people of Arua have. So we're going to solve it together.
Honorable, at this point, I think, Aldo, it is safe to say that this man actually has a very unique perspective, because
I think out of the three, he's a visionary leader.
Yeah, he is. Now, you mentioned something very interesting. You made a statement here that most people don't act when issues don't directly affect them. And that is something in Arua that is very common, Aldo. When we look at let's go back to PDM. When we look at PDM, you who is earning, let's say, your 3 million and you're a focal person for that PDM, I think there's that lacking understanding to see how much this 1 million could have actually done for the other person who this might actually be the whole capital that they needed. And then we see other issues surrounding people's money disappearing or someone being assaulted in the name of these resources that the government gives so freely for people. So now I want people to understand, okay, for the man out there who was planning to divert some money, let people understand what does this mean. Now, of course, money, when we mishandle money, especially government money, there are repercussions. One of the things I understand is that if we keep sending money that government has given back to the government, just like you see, Aldo, if your parent gives you pocket money and every time you come back with balance, it says something, this money is too much. And as a result, every time you go back, we keep chopping that. If we can't utilize money, we are showing the government that we do not need this much money. Of course, they will keep sending it back, but eventually, what could that mean for us? Because Arua is a city, we have projects coming in, we have things, visions that we have that need to be funded. So, now as someone who has a vision yourself, and this vision has to be funded, what could this mean for us if we keep mishandling resources? Let the people understand, because if they understand how it will also affect them, then people may stop disappearing with PDM money.
The thing is, there's danger in receiving money when you have very many problems. You get it? Eh?
You can say that again.
Swale Aruna, what problems is Arua honorable? What problems is Arua having? And maybe, Swale is speaking in the languages that even is very hard. I wanted this because the politician, as a senior politician, I understand. What are some of those problems you mentioned? One was the issue of the land. Now, we want to understand how you're going to envision that people should register land, and also, because these are very brilliant ideas, if we can break them down, I know the next time people will be able to know that we really missed out a very good politician who would have shaped us for the next 5 years. Yes.
If you go to other places like Kampala, these other areas, land is a security that can get you money for doing any type of business. You get it? We have Pride Microfinance, we have these other banks all here in Arua. When you go and ask for loan for doing business, they rely on the title. So if very many people don't have title, what would they present? How will they improve on their businesses? How can they grow? That is the challenge. You must have something at least that, if you don't want to stay in that house, but at least since it has title, you can be able to sell it and get capital and do some other thing. You get it? So like these women in the market, we're planning something with them. I told them, if you go, I asked them, you people, do you people just want to sell things, other people's items? Tomato comes from Kampala. Onion comes from Bali. Have our souls disappointed us? Why don't we go to Vurahia, maybe get something like 5 acres and we plant these things in large quantity? That the onion from Kampala is red. People like it so much. I said, now if it's like that, why don't you load from Vura and then you make the car pass via Kuruva that side and then it comes to town.
But won't that be another corruption?
That's not corruption. That is just service delivery, delivering goods to the people in the way they want. You get it? But tomato is tomato.
So attacking their mindset in simple language, you're just trying to.
Mindset is
very
what
brilliant.
Is spoiling us. Something must be done in another way, unless, if not, we are not consuming it.
Honorable, there is the point you brought has brought an interesting question in my mind. You see, Uganda is one place. Our president has been promoting this campaign, Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. But it beats my understanding. Uganda is one country where you find razor blade from Kazakhstan, matchbox from Pakistan. And we're wondering, these small things, like you say, do we really need to bring tomatoes? Arua is a big place. We have land. And as you've said, our land has not yet failed us. So, and you're a man who has vision. And I'm seeing that your vision is actually aligning with this campaign our government has been putting. Can we, as Ugandans, we have resources. We are a rich country. We have resources. So what is stopping us from planting those red onions here? What is stopping us from having, I remember we used to have this matchbox of Uganda, That one, if you don't light it carefully, but these are things that are dying away. So, as it is your vision to see that this is the Uganda we need, this is the Arua we need, what thing can you tell to people there? To the viewer right now who is viewing, who has probably 2 acres of land in the village that they are keeping waiting to be rich to put a bungalow on. What is there for us to know? What is stopping us? Do we have any barriers really holding us from doing these things?
Our problem is sometimes we don't know what we want. You get it? When something comes, you go into something without really putting down what you want. And then, so when the thing comes and you find you mess it up, because you have nothing to lose. You get it? That mentality, it still comes to issue of mentality. But with serious engagements, sometimes when you talk about the beauty of something to someone for long, the person will be able to understand. Just as you had said, there's a culture we have here. There's a saying we say, what? Your name is Paraka Mimionindo. And it's if you have not seen the bad side of something, you cannot what? You cannot know the danger. Because now when you look at the issues of the health sector, like in the health sector, I've been asking myself, what has the people of Umvara done for them not to have a health center? You get it? These people, when they fall sick, they move from Umvara to Arua Hospital. You see that distance? And then you see, Oli here, Oli has a health center. Awindere doesn't have. What is this basic need that basic services people need? We need to take services closer to the people. Like Mvara should have a hospital in the next, in these 5 years. You get it? Because Mvara, it will even help the side of Ivory East, what. Those are the things that we need. You get it?
Honorable, there is something I want us to now look at. As a youth, I would always want also to see your vision for the youth out there, and what would be the situation analysis of the youth and some of the problems that you think we could be able to address so that we have an inclusive society. Remember, the youths are the majority, even in Arua City, in West Nile, in Uganda, 77% of our population are the youths, and most of these are those who are school going. So what vision do you have for the youths out there?
The youth have been engaging the youth. Personally, if you look at the programs that were, as I told you, sometimes money comes when you have a lot of things on your head. You get it? And as a youth, there's that thinking that they still have very many chances of making mistakes, and they make mistakes with the morale. so it needs all about. We need to train these people. We need to engage them. Sometimes. Recently, I told a certain gentleman, I want to do something for him. Can he come up with a proposal? The guy came up with a proposal of 100 million. I said, what is the biggest amount you have ever held in your life? I said, if I give you this 100 million, you're either going to die or you run mad. Because sometimes money comes, somebody cannot keep some money. You find that if somebody mismanages 1 million, now, if you give that person 100 million, in fact, you have killed that person. So, receiving big money when you're not prepared is also sometimes dangerous. It makes you think everything is doable, and then you make mistakes.
Now, this brings me back. You've said it, and you've repeated this, I think, twice on the screen right now. And we have looked at people disappearing with PDA money, misusing resources that the government has put outside there. Now, this brings me, I think, maybe the problem is we are giving money to people who have problems but not plans. So now, as a government, I want to know from you, is there a way we can, because we have youth livelihood here that gives funds to the youth to support, their livelihood and all that. Then we have the PDM, and we have SAGE. We have many programs of the government giving money out there. But does the government check to see before giving this money? Because it's for all Ugandans, but do we vet to see that really this group, they have a vision? Because leave that paper writing, because anyone can draft. But do we vet these people before giving them money? Because now, if someone had a plan, I don't see why you would disappear with just 1 million. And say, so maybe you can highlight to us as a government, do we check these people to see that is this resource? Because not everyone who has a problem has a plan. That is what I've come to understand from you. So how do we differentiate that this youth group will actually utilize this effectively? Does the government have that system?
Sometimes when you look at service delivery, like some of these programs, when they are running, you should divide it into phases for you to understand it very well. One, the funding bit, the implementer, and then the manager, the person who does it. If weakness falls among these three, you may find the whole thing faked. So you may find that the government gives the money, right? But the person between, now the person who is going to be the beneficiary understands this. But this person between has a weakness. You see that? People in government, when they're working, they also have their weaknesses. So it's out of their weaknesses. Sometimes you find some of these programs fall out. So some of these follows that the park committee makes, the committee comes, and these issues that they identify, the local leaders have to sit and they tell the people, here you have gone wrong, here you have gone wrong, and here you need to improve. But as I said, if it is consistently failing, it means there's a deliberate effort by some individuals through connivance to fail it. So in such kind of situation, government must punish them because you are stopping on the way of very many.
Yes, Honorable Swale Haruna, right in studios, right here. Remember, this is the Morning Explorer program, and it comes away from Mondays to Fridays, 6 to 9 a.m. And Desire and Aldo will always be there to take your mornings from this hour up to 9. And we just have some few minutes to move out of the studios and later on go and catch up with the Public Accounts Committee hearing that is happening at Arua, where all the local government administrative units of the West Nile are being interfaced right over there. Yes, Honorable Swale Haruna, just we have a few minutes right here. Today, the NRM did pronounce itself that they'll be leasing out some of the results of the hearings from the petitions right there. And we did see one component that you contested with is also in this petition right over there. And yesterday we did have a legal person right in studio to discuss these ideas more on how it means to petition and how. And we are waiting the hearings today. As someone who was directly in these elections, remember the Central Division where you participated in the election as a member of parliament, Honorable Atimali, who was declared winner, has been petitioned by Deborah Ronald, your opponent, who also did not make it through the elections right over there. So what are some of the issues that transpired during that election and that you would wish to see that they may be in one way or the other, some other person cannot see better, but you as someone who directly participated in that election might have a better vision on this? Yes, just to you on that.
You know, this recently, I dodged that question deliberately, but let me have a say about it because, you know, as an NRM, I love my party. I love my party. And I know the problem my party is going through. You get it? And I see a bigger challenge ahead of us. Instead of wasting time and moving up and down in busy petitions and all those things, as I said, let me focus on the bigger picture. You get it? Because if you look at the primaries, the nature of the primaries, complaints and petitions that the complaints all over the country, the thing was not well organized. That is the fact. It was not well organized. People are not using the register. So implementation also, the registrars have had a big problem in the whole election. So the whole thing was just messed up. But it doesn't stop us from what? Doing what we want to do as NRM for the people. You get it? It is NRM and the people. These electoral processes are just there to select people, to do leadership. But sometimes leadership doesn't mean you necessarily have to be in parliament. You get it? Yeah. There's some things that we are going to change in this city without necessarily being in parliament. And whoever is going to go through as the final MP, we shall work together because unity is what we need. We must work together to see that at least we make our city the city that everyone will admire and love to stay in.
The viewer would wish to have a sentimental attachment to you in terms of you, because you have said a lot of ideas on there here. So who is that Swale Haruna in terms of the things that you have said in there? Who is that Swale Haruna who is going to be there for the next 5 years before we also see another elective period coming in there? And you've been in NRM for all these years. So how do you see yourself for the next 5 years in this party that you, the flag bearer, at some point you worked directly, and now that you have also been contesting in politically through the party primaries right over there? Let's look at you, Swale Haruna, Honorable Swale Haruna, as an individual and someone who, what spaces do you have so that the youth, maybe the women, and the community can be able to interact with you to get to have some of these insights, like have a feeds on what you're doing in the community?
Yeah, with the nature, if you look at the setup of our community, there's some things that I'm planning to roll. One day I will come here and we'll roll it out. But right now what I'm doing is I'm building a team of change agents. I know I've segmented the community, the central city community, to groups, and I'm trying to customize some specific messaging that is going to go to them. This is something that I know, if not now, in 2 or 3 years, will impact positively in some people's lives. I want to start, this is saying, so I'm not interested in the numbers, but I want to move at my own pace, do my things the way I understand them, because there are very many things that we have done in this region. If you talk about Swale, you know, there's what we call generational gap. That's why my sister here doesn't know me. They were born here. So that gap, I've also come to bridge that gap. Very many youth that came up when we were not on the social scene that don't know me, but I guarantee within these few years, everyone is going to know me, and every household is going to know me, and that is my focus. I want to be a household brand.
Discuss on where people just house a few minutes to make sure that we're out of this studios right here. Desire, and just 3 minutes from now we'll be moving out of the studios, and we just want to get your final remarks of the day as we head for the Public Accounts Committee hearing that is happening in Arua City. I would wish to see the districts that have not been interfaced, the local governments like Yumbe, Pakuwats, and others that are also in pipeline that will be interfaced by the Park Committee today. Remember, Gilbert Olanya is heading that team together with our own, that is Honorable Etuka Isaac, right over there. Just before we move out of the studios now, just back to you, Honorable Swale, as Desire is ready to sweep us out of the studios after your speech right here. What are your last parting thoughts, just in 1 minute, to the viewer who has been very vocable, very eagerly listening to you for all this time you've been right here? Yes.
My final message to the viewers is that when the government program comes like this, first thing you have to do is run to the office concerned, get information. Information is very, very, very important. It will make you understand how this program is going to work, how this program is intended to benefit you, and then from there you can be able to get the necessary requirements that you need to get these programs. And then when we are doing some of these things, we should avoid these brokers. There are some middlemen who have that belief that for you to reach this office, it must be through him or her. So those are people who make the whole process very hectic. So if you want something from government, go to the office concerned, go there, they will serve you. And then in case they don't serve you, there are very many offices that are there you can report the matter to. These are people who are there to serve you. So if somebody is not serving you, then the person is not doing the right thing. So with these government programs, let us embrace these government programs. They will impact on our lives. And the moment you understand it better, take it as yourself, as a volunteer, make others understand it the way you have understood it. That's how they will run. And the corruption issues, we don't have to wait for a team in Kampala to come here and identify that the money has been stolen, what, you get it. So sometimes some of these things, you bring them out yourselves. Yeah? You bring them out yourselves and talk about it. We should not in any way promote, tolerate corruption. It eats up the society.
Wow, wow. That is the Honorable Swale Haruna. Now, you see, there are two things that he has spoken here that I want us, the viewers, to go home with. One is you have problems. You need resources. Do you have a plan? And then secondly is one thing I have learned from honorable today is that you do not need to be a member of parliament or a titled man to be an honorable citizen of this country. You do not have to wait for those moments to be a leader. And I think this is one attitude that we really pray that our leaders will adopt to. And, let us work with him. Let us support him. We have seen the vision. Let us be part of this vision. This is the Arua we want. When citizens come up with or without title, we are going to transform this city. Otherwise, this has been the Morning Explorer with me, Desire, and Aldo in the studio. And we had Honorable Haruna here. This has been an incredible journey and exploration we have had this morning. Thank you for making us your breakfast partner. So we are going to roll out of the studio now to catch the rest of the day. But we have Afro Cinema coming your way. Stay tuned for that. And later on at 11, we will have Olivia UG with the AM to PM show. So be hooked on your screen. We have a lot of things to serve you the rest of this day. Remember, it is 24 hours of broadcasting live on Facebook, on the Afro mobile app, and you can catch us on WhatsApp on the number projecting on your screen right there. This has been the Morning Explorer Show. Stay hooked with us. And those who have an extra time, please follow us as we go and explore more on the park committee that is in Arua City right now. And we see what really is going to transpire for the city and West Nile at large. This is it for today. Thank you.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a name.
You have a name? Do you have a name? Do not be like Mweve. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits, and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa, or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284*173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.